Chapter 1. The airport breathed with the low roar of departures and arrivals, a living thing made of rolling suitcases, hurried footsteps, and muffled announcements, and as Ethan Blackwood walked through the terminal with the practiced confidence of a man who owned time instead of chasing it, he felt nothing beyond the usual impatience until his eyes landed on a familiar face resting against a cold window. A face he hadn't seen in 3 years yet recognized instantly: Maria, the former maid. From his estate, asleep on a bench with 2 infants nestled against her chest, wrapped in a thin blanket, their tiny breaths fogging the air, and in that moment the world cracked open because the last time he had seen her, she had left his house quietly at dawn with a single suitcase and eyes full of unshed words, and now here she was, exhausted, vulnerable, holding twins who carried a shape of familiarity that struck him like a physical blow. Ethan stopped walking, his assistant calling his name fading into noise as memory surged forward, memories of long nights working in his study while Maria cleaned silently nearby, of her soft humming echoing through the marble halls, of the way she never complained even when his world was collapsing under lawsuits and betrayal, of the night he had found her crying in the kitchen and offered comfort without understanding the cost, and as he stood frozen, watching a woman he once thought insignificant now anchoring his entire attention, guilt tightened his chest because he remembered the morning she left, the letter she never sent, the questions he never asked. Travelers moved around him, but Ethan saw only Maria stirring awake, instinctively adjusting the blanket around the twins, her face etched with a fatigue earned through sacrifice, and when she looked up, their eyes met, and the shock on her face mirrored his own, fear flickering first, then resolve, because Maria had learned to be strong in a world that rarely was kind to her. Ethan approached slowly, as if sudden movement might shatter something fragile, and when he spoke her name, it sounded like a confession. Her lips parted but no words came, only a protective tightening of her arms around the babies, and that was when he saw it clearly, the truth he had refused to imagine, the twins' eyes, the curve of their cheeks, echoes of himself staring back without accusation, and his breath caught as the past rearranged itself into a new, unforgiving order. Maria stood, swaying slightly, pride holding her upright as she said she had never planned for him to find out this way, that she had left to protect what little peace she could carve for her children, and her words were calm but every syllable carried years of loneliness, of hospital nights, of working double shifts, of choosing silence over scandal, and Ethan listened as if his life depended on it, because in a way, it did. She told him she never asked for anything, not money, not recognition, not forgiveness, only the chance to raise her children without being crushed by his shadow, and as she spoke, the airport seemed to hush, as if even the walls leaned in to hear the truth. Ethan felt the weight of all his power rendered useless against the simplicity of responsibility, and for the first time in decades, he wasn't thinking like a millionaire, he was thinking like a man who had failed, and when he knelt to the twins' level, tears burned his eyes because he understood that legacy wasn't built in boardrooms but in moments you chose to show up, and he promised her then, not with money but with presence, that he would not disappear again. Maria didn't forgive him instantly. Forgiveness was a journey she had earned the right to control, but she allowed him to walk beside them, not ahead, not behind, and together they moved through the terminal, an unlikely family framed by strangers, carrying a future that demanded courage more than wealth, and as the chapter of their lives turned in that airport hallway, the real truth revealed itself, that love delayed is still love, that truth ignored grows heavier with time, and that sometimes destiny doesn't shout, it waits patiently on a cold bench until you're ready to see it. If this story moved you, if you believe that second chances and hidden truths can change everything, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, because more powerful, emotional stories like this are coming, and your support helps keep them alive. Reminding us all that even in the busiest places on earth, the most important moments happen quietly.